Okay, this is going to be one of those videos where it's just completely unscripted, unedited. It just is what it is. I'm going to try really hard not to ramble too much, but I've got some things that are happening in my life that are affecting you to some degree, and I feel like you should know. If you've been watching this channel for a long time, if you've kept any of the live streams that we've done, then you have met my lovely wife, Celesta. My wife is my very best friend. She's a person that I look to when I'm unsure about myself. She's a person that gives me encouragement, that helps me with my videos, that watches every single one of my videos, because I don't think there's probably anybody else in the world who does. She's the person I trust the most, that I love the most, and that I can't stand to be without. Earlier this year, my wife was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and we kind of knew that it was coming. She'd had a lump for several years, and doctors had been monitoring it and wanted to make sure it wasn't getting any bigger, all that kind of stuff. She went in for her very last sonogram of the lump on her thyroid, and it had grown quite a bit. And so the doctor was like, you know what, we want to do a biopsy. And so they took a biopsy of this lump on her thyroid, and it was cancerous, or it had an 80% chance of being cancerous. And so they wanted to do a thyroidectomy. And at the time, we were concerned about it. One of our biggest concerns was her vocal cords. She's a therapist, mental health therapist, and uses her voice quite a bit. And we were worried that we'd heard about people who'd had their vocal cords snipped during a thyroidectomy, and it made their voice hoarse from that point out. And so we were really concerned about that. And it was one of our bigger concerns. We knew that the cancer wasn't the most deadly cancer. We knew that a thyroidectomy would heal her. And so we were just concerned about, some of the side effects, I guess, of treatment. And so she had her thyroid removed in April. And for the most part, it didn't really slow down the channel, I was still cranking out videos, I was still going on trips, I was still doing all these things. I was trying to be there and support my wife. This is also the way that we make a living. And so, to some degree, I needed to continue doing what I do on YouTube. And everything went well. Her voice was intact. Thyroid was removed. We were concerned about her being on thyroid meds, but in the long scheme of things, it wasn't that big of a concern, And so she did great, and we continued on with life. And then sometime around June or July, I can't remember exactly when, she was diagnosed. Well, she had a suspicious mammogram, routine mammogram that she went in for, and picked up some lumps in her breast, and they were concerned about it, and they wanted to do a biopsy. And so they went in and they did a biopsy, and she was diagnosed with ductal carcinoma, which is the best case scenario, from what I understand, when you're dealing with breast cancer. It's completely contained within the breast ducts, the milk ducts, and lots of people can go for a very long time without it ever really developing into anything more. And so they were debating whether they wanted to do a lumpectomy or they wanted to do a mastectomy, and they wanted to get an MRI to find out just how extensive the cancer in her breast was. And so we were concerned about this, but again, it wasn't slowing down the channel that much. I was still doing what I needed to do. She was in support, all those kinds of things. We were really sad about how this was going to change her and her body going forward, but we knew that ductal carcinoma was, in this big scheme of cancers, wasn't the worst. So they did an MRI to figure out how extensive the cancer was in her breast. And during that MRI, they found a lump that the mammogram did not pick up. And this was outside of her breast ducts. It was in the breast tissue. And the MRI also lit up her lymph nodes underneath her arm and flagged them as suspicious. And so they wanted to do another biopsy. And so they did a biopsy of this new lump that the MRI found, did a biopsy of her lymph nodes, and the lump turned out to be a completely different type of breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer, which, as far as I understand, is the worst type of breast cancer that you can be diagnosed with. It has the least number of treatment options available to doctors to try to treat it. There's all kinds of stats. You can Google it. I'm warning you now, if you Google it, it's pretty scary stuff that you encounter when you start Googling stuff like that. And so she was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. They also biopsied her lymph nodes, and they were positive for cancer as well, which meant that it had spread beyond her breast. And now they were looking at doing a complete mastectomy and chemotherapy. And we needed to get a PET scan done to make sure that the breast cancer had not spread beyond her lymph nodes to any other part of her body. And for a real good long time there, we were really scared. No, I didn't think I was going to get emotional doing this, because it's been a little while now, but we were really scared that it had spread to other parts of her body. And it took a little while, and there were some issues with getting the PET scan done, but we eventually did get the PET scan done, and thankfully, it came back with only the cancer that we already knew about. And so there had not been any other spread beyond her breast and her lymph nodes. All that to say, we're now in the middle of a pretty lengthy and involved treatment to cure her cancer and save her life. Our doctors are really good doctors. We're really happy with the team that we have. They've set up a regimen of chemotherapy. She's going to be doing 22 weeks of chemotherapy, of which we are already 4 weeks into. She'll finish that sometime late February, early March of next year. And then once she's gone through the chemotherapy, they're going to do a mastectomy. As of right now, the cancer is only in one breast. I think we're going to opt to do a double mastectomy, just because with all the ups and downs and scares that we've had with this whole journey, starting all the way back with our thyroid cancer in February, we just don't want to deal with it anymore. We don't want to have to worry about it anymore. We don't want to have to worry about her other breast being affected later on down the road. And so we think we're going to opt for a double mastectomy and just try to get everything taken care of. The reason I'm telling you is because, for one, I don't do a whole lot of this, what I'm doing right now, just talking candidly and real to the camera. I mean, I script a lot of things that I'm going to say. I think them through. I meticulously plan out what is going to happen in a video. And so I wanted to just tell you how all appreciative I am of all of you that you watch my videos. and that you allow me to do this full time. And I also want to let you know that I'm not going away. I'm going to continue making videos, but I'm going to be cutting back quite a bit. In fact, I already have, and if you watch the channel carefully, then you've probably already noticed how much I've cut back. And I'm going to continue to cut back. I'll probably be doing at least one video a month. I'm really sorry. I don't know why people apologize for emotion. Emotion is a very natural thing. But it wasn't something that I was planning to happen in this video. I'll probably continue to do one video a month at the very minimum, in part because, like I said earlier, this is how I feed my family and how I take care of them and things like that. And so I can't just stop altogether. But at the same time, I want to be more present with my family than I have in the past. I want to be more supportive of my wife and be with her while she's going through chemotherapy, support her, and help her during this fight. Now, that doesn't mean that things aren't going to come up and more than one video is going to come out. I've already got some things that have been in the works for a while and are in the pipes and filmed and all that kind of stuff. And so you may see more than one video come out a month, but for the most part, I'm going to be cutting back, slowing down, doing videos that take less time and take me away from my family for smaller amounts of time. Doesn't mean that everything's going to be in my basement or in my backyard. I'm still going to get out, still going to spend the night in the woods, still going to talk about backpacking gear and cool stuff, and hopefully do some really cool testing, like the last video. At least I think it was the last video, depending on when this video gets published, where I was able to do that wind testing with the tents, and it was something that was a really interesting and intriguing video I've wanted to do for a long time. Wasn't super involved, only took about a day to really film, but I think adds a lot of good quality to the channel. And so maybe some stuff like that, maybe some just easy videos that don't take a whole lot of time. There probably will be a few videos that are just filmed in my basement or my backyard, but I'm going to try to keep the quality high, while also spending more time with my family and taking care of them and supporting my wife. I also want to say that I'm really, really thankful. This video that you're watching right now is not sponsored, but I am very thankful to my sponsors like Garage Grown Gear and Zimbivy and Onyx, who have all been very understanding. Some of whom I still have commitments with, but they have been very gracious and have said, you focus on your family and take care of what you need to take care of, and those videos will still be here when I find time to make them again. I don't really know what else to say here. Like I said, we are about in our fourth round of chemo, of about our fourth week of 22 weeks. And so far, she's been tolerating the chemo really well. First few weeks went better than this last one. We got another one here just in a few days that will probably happen before you see this video. And hoping that she's going to continue to tolerate the chemo really well, that it's not going to take too much of a toll on her and her body and her fatigue and nausea and all those kinds of things, but that at the same time, he's going to do what we and the doctors needed to do and take care of this cancer. And then, I don't know, I may do some other things as time allows. I may do some live streams. I haven't done a live stream in a really long time. I may jump on every once in a while, do a video like this where I just kind of update you what's going on, especially if it seems like there's general interest and concern there. And like I said, I'm just really thankful for all of you. And I thank you that you continue to watch, and ask that you continue to support the channel and the sponsors that make it so that I can do this full time. And that you'll be thinking about my wife. This is the problem with not thinking things out, is now I'm here at this stage in the video and I have no idea what else to say. So, thank you for watching. If you got this far in this type of video, odds are that you have already liked and subscribed. And I really appreciate that. Thank you again.